I've talked to you a lot about my path and my healing journey and all the things I've been through. And I've expressed openly to you, vulnerably to you. I haven't expressed it to the world yet. I haven't expressed it outside. I'm a very, very private person and always have been. And when you sit in the positions that I've sat in, running large publicly traded companies, you learn to become very, very guarded because there's so little you can share. So that sort of evolved into my personal journey around who can I really share vulnerably with. So today I'm here to do that.
You're going to go there.
I'm going to go there. I'm going to go there.
Wow.
And it's going to be a growth for me. It's going to be a stretch for me for sure. But I'm committed to it because it's time.
I'm honored to have Michele here. She is a dear friend of mine, someone who I go to talk about deep things, deep thoughts, navigating business, navigating hiring certain people, as well as just life, being a really good friend. But the reason I trust her and go to her is because not only is she a good friend, honest, loyal, but she has over 30 years of experience in the corporate world. She rose from entry-level training program to CEO over a 30-year career, and she advanced through the ranks of corporate America. She understands the politics, the bureaucracy, and even the misogyny. She has impacted so many people, but her true transformation actually happened when she left, and she started to unravel all the different layers of suppressed trauma, and she began a profound journey of healing and reclamation. I am so excited to have her on. I can't wait to welcome her. Welcome to the Danette May Show, where you'll receive profound breakthroughs, courage to break old patterns, and live into your soul's purpose. Each week, I will bring you epic guests and live coaching to remind you of your power. You have the ability to achieve extraordinary things, and the time to start is now. I have been wanting to have you here with me. Not only are you my favorite human right now, like truly, like the girl I talk to every single week, if not more, but we always have 1 week date where we talk.
We do.
And we strategize sometimes. Sometimes it's just sharing life updates, as we call it, our year in a week.
Yes.
Yeah. What happened in your year, which was really a week. And I've been we've talked about this, having you here on the show, because some of the conversations we have, I'm like, everyone needs to hear this. Like, we're just chatting as friends. These are our insights. But I wanted other women to feel like they were a part of it. And so that's kind of my intention, is bringing women into this conversation. And it's primarily the women. If men want to listen in, great, but buckle up because we got some opinions.
We do have some opinions. And yes, we have talked about this for so long. And we've talked about just sitting back and recording our conversations.
I know, which we should.
Yeah, we should.
That's another conversation.
We should, because sometimes when we drop in, which we do every week, it goes in places I don't think either one of us could have expected.
I know.
And it's been really an honor and a pleasure getting to know you, becoming close with you. Thank you for having me today.
Yeah, you're welcome. It's true. Like, I think that's what makes our friendship really awesome, is that nothing's off limits.
Yes.
You and Craig are people in my life that I feel like I can share lots of different parts of myself, or inquisitive parts of myself, or just wonderings, insights. I might change my opinion next week, but I always feel like I can actually share all of it.
Yes.
That's why it just goes there, because we just do that.
Yes.
So.
Yes. And I have really been able to witness your evolution of someone who's willing to open up to another woman in the way you have. We both had some deep wounding around that.
Yep.
So I think it's been a real opportunity for both of us to open up and to share and be vulnerable and feel safe.
Yes, that's
in
a
that
big
expression.
thing.
For sure.
Like the ups and downs, all of it.
All of it.
Well, I'm going to go into a question about that, because I think women are going to want to hear that, because we're newer to each other. But before I do, what was your intention? You flew in.
I did.
So what was your intention for being here on the show?
I think primarily, and you and I have talked about this a long time. So a long time. We're new to each other. 2020 or so we met. And I've evolved a lot during that time. We've evolved a lot during that time. And I've talked to you a lot about my path and my healing journey and all the things I've been through. And I've expressed openly to you, vulnerably to you. I haven't expressed it to the world yet. I haven't expressed it outside. I'm a very, very private person and always have been. And when you sit in the positions that I've sat in, running large publicly traded companies, you learn to become very, very guarded because there's so little you can share. So that sort of evolved into my personal journey around who can I really share vulnerably with. So today I'm here to do that.
You're going to go there.
I'm going to go there. I'm going to go there.
Wow.
And it's going to be a growth for me. It's going to be a stretch for me for sure. But I'm committed to it because it's time.
And you know that when you leave here, you're going to have vulnerability hangover.
Completely.
But I'm here for you.
I had them before I walked in the door. So it's already here. But I feel very, very safe with you.
Yeah.
And whatever's meant to come out is meant to come out. And I feel very confident that it's time and you're the one to do this with.
Thank you. Yeah. And I know there's going to be women listening that are going to relate to your story. And even my prayer is this younger generation listening to you would be like, oh, I'm not going to repeat that.
Exactly.
Oh, there's a different way.
Right.
There's a different way.
There's a different way.
So let's talk about Michele. Where did this journey evolve to where you started to feel this feeling of, I don't know if I can trust women or I can trust to fully open up? Where do you think that came from, and what led you through this journey? Well, give us some key points from your childhood, maybe in business and your early 20s, 30s.
Yeah. So there's so many points, going into my 6th decade. I know, can't believe I said that one out loud. There's so many times in intersections in life where I was either naive, too trusting, didn't set boundaries with people, that I allowed certain, friendships, relationships, colleagues, whichever avenue you want to go, to really cross lines, and I sort of accepted it. And then in many times I walked away. There were many times I walked away from many of these, instances. But if I really look back, the starting of this, now that I've spent the last few years unraveling my journey, is when I was born with paralyzed vocal cords.
You were?
I was.
I did not know this part.
Yes. Yes. And it's a memory that I had forgotten about. It's not suppressed, but I had forgotten about it.
Yeah.
And you and I met through Grace.
Yep.
And I spent a year with Grace in hypnotherapy. And it was in the early session with Grace that this came up. And when it came up, I had never experienced a trauma release before. And what happened was I was in trance, but for any of you who know hypnotherapy, you can easily be pulled out of trance within a second. You're very, very aware.
Yep.
I start to shake uncontrollably.
In that session, but you're alone in your home when you're doing this?
I'm with her down,
with her.
in Florida at her office. And the memory comes up that I was born with these paralyzed vocal cords and jaundice and a few other things. And I start to shake uncontrollably, and she guided me through it beautifully, which was, if you can stay in it, please stay in it. This is a release. This is your body releasing that trauma. And I did. But what unraveled after that was really interesting. I started to track my journey through my life. And I think anybody watching that knows me, that knows my career, that saw me through work would say, there's no way. You always showed up with confidence, strength, all the things externally,
for sure,
that I presented to the world. But internally, I look at that silencing of my throat chakra from really birth, which really was in utero. I go back to memories of being in utero and knowing my mother was overwhelmed with 3 boys under the age of 5 when I came in. My father was an OBGYN, was never home. And I came into the world like she didn't really want another child. That's a subconscious belief. It certainly wasn't. She loved me. She wanted me, all that. But subconsciously, what she was going
overwhelmed.
Through. So I came in without a voice to the world. And then that went through my life. So when you ask about where the wounding comes from, it comes from not being really clear about my voice, about my boundaries, about what I wanted, what my expectations were. It was always somebody else's. So that is clearly unraveling now. And I would tell a lot of people, and I see it happen to a lot of young women and older women, honestly, where they're not expressing their truth. Whatever that truth is about friendships, about work, about intimate relations, about marriage, about any of it.
Yeah.
So that's been the journey to really say, it's not just about female wounds. Of course they're there. And it's so much more. It's so much more.
As a woman that you just said, I can't believe you said it too, because you seem so, when I look at you, you feel young. Like you feel like your essence feels quite young and free. I always see like this meadow when I picture you, like in it, just free, hair flowing. So It's funny you said that. But
Mhm.
as a woman in this demographic age group,
Yeah.
how do you feel like you come to trusting women and forming friendship? Like, what's that journey been like? Because
Mm,
this is a big one.
it is a big one.
Because you don't have your childhood friends anymore, do you?
There's a few friends that I've had for over 30 years.
Okay, wow, okay,
Yeah. Are they the ones that I'll go the deepest with? No.
okay.
So as I've evolved, as my growth and healing has evolved, I've got very, very small circle of friends that I will go there with,
Mm-hmm.
that I will really go deep with. And honestly, at this point in my life, and age is a beautiful thing in many fronts because so much wisdom, so much pain along the journey, but so much wisdom comes with age, and I wouldn't trade it. I really wouldn't.
Mm-hmm.
So I have an approach now, and you laugh at me sometimes, that I have always been very, very good at reading people.
Mm-hmm.
And my ability at this point in my life is exceptional. And I read people very, very quickly. And I've proven myself fairly confidently that 9 out of 10 times I'm really accurate. There are a few that unravel in front of me that I'm like, oh wow, I didn't see that coming, both good and bad.
Yeah.
But I just have an intuitive sense now about who's the real deal and who isn't. And there's a lot of real nonsense out there right now. And, one of the words I've shared with you is authenticity. And, we've had this conversation about it, and really what is authenticity? Because we're all unraveling,
Yeah.
depths and depths and depths and layers. But authenticity, and that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for real heart, real depth, real soul, and people that are on an evolution of growth that I've been on.
Mm-hmm.
If they're not, and if they're not doing the work, I find it very difficult to have a deep connection with.
Yeah. It's funny you say that because I just recently, I was thinking about it. I was telling my daughter about this just the other day, and I think I might have shared with you too, but I'm like, friendship is getting narrower and narrower because I've not been good at it reading people. Like, I have good instincts, but with people, it's like I'm a newborn baby.
You're getting better.
I'm getting better.
You're getting better.
But I've just decided that I'm going to get close to people that I can tell actually love themselves. They're the safest.
Mm-hmm.
They don't have to be perfect. They can have different belief systems. But if they love themselves and are willing, like you're saying, growth, because growth is equivalent to self-love.
Yes.
Then, I'll walk there. But I think that's where I'm at right now. Like, people that don't love themselves are dangerous.
They are.
Yeah.
They are.
Mm-hmm.
People don't know themselves, love themselves, evolve themselves.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of them are stuck in a lot of trauma, that they have unhealed trauma, which comes out in really interesting ways at times.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
So about this business world, I know we could unpack this for
We
hours.
could.
What would you wish the 20-year-old Michele, or in the 20s, at the beginning of this evolution that she went on for 30 years?
Yeah.
What do you wish she would have known?
Oh, boy. That's a great question. There's so many things. I think the one thing I've shared openly with you is that I wish I had found my truth earlier, and the journey to finding my truth was through healing. Had I healed, and my childhood is not going to profile like one that you would say, wow, there was a lot of obvious abuse there. There really wasn't. There was the typical parents that did the best they could.
Yeah.
I hold nothing against them, but there was stuff that was born out of that time. A lot of the abuse that occurred was really later in my career and in my relationships that went on. So that's really the unraveling it. Had I done the healing earlier, and I remember I did not do the healing until I finally stepped away from corporate 6 years ago.
Like where you have time.
Where I had time. I thought my healing back then was if I went on a yoga retreat 1 week out of the 2 measly weeks I got a year, that was my recentering. It wasn't even close. So I really had to step back in the last really 4 years and unravel and unpack all of what happened. So I would have done the healing, and I would have gotten to my truth sooner, and I would not have stayed in the corporations I stayed in.
Wow. What do I say to this woman? Because, when I was, let's say, 22, 24, I was having babies. I was young. So some women are getting out of college. They're like trying to find a career, trying to make a living. So how do we speak to her? Because she's like, okay, I do know I need healing, and it's going to affect who you choose to marry,
Yes.
the job you're going to take, and what you're going to tolerate in that job.
Yes.
It's going to affect every decision you're going to make. How do we get her the healing, or how does she actually choose the healing like, what does she do? Because she's like, I think about my daughter who's 22 and she's already stressed about, I got to get a career and I've got to make money to support my living,
Mm,
but also needs healing time.
yes. So, I can't speak to everyone right now. And I would tell you, in my experience with the women that I have talked to, met with, that are on these journeys, the 20s are a really interesting time because you're still really young.
Yeah.
There's some older souls in that
Yeah.
demographic, but they're really young. I find right now women in their 30s are really starting to hit some edges.
Mm.
So they've had enough career experience, they've had enough relationship experience. Some are mothers, some are working mothers, some are stay-at-home moms, some are already going through a divorce, some are, recreating their entire career. So I find the 30s are the ones that you really can start to talk to about where they are.
Mhm.
20s, it's such an early time.
Yeah.
And they have to go through some of those growth curves, whatever those are. I could wish healing on them. I think this generation coming up is way more open, way more exposed to opportunities than I was, for sure.
Yeah.
But really, the 30s is where I feel like, oh, they're now ready to listen because
They
are
kind of got kicked around a
they
little.
got kicked around a little bit. They're hitting some spots, and they're like, oh, wait, what?
Yeah.
There's another way to consider this. They're more open.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, I guess for me, and what I would probably tell my daughter is, yeah, maybe you can't take 6 months to go travel the world. And
Hmm.
like, there is responsibility. And if you do that, there are consequences. But what about every day listening to something from Alan Watts or something
Mm,
inspiring? Weekly therapy with someone who you can really unpack and get skill sets with, daily meditation.
yeah,
Like, just do the small pieces. It's like taking the vitamins and trying to eat healthy, but not being the fitness professional
yeah,
when it comes to health. It's
yeah.
like, what can you do in piecemeal moments and of the everyday
Mm,
to really unpack some of the stuff and really, there's journal things you can do, because I do think it's difficult to go through the divorce and it's difficult to go through a whole 10-year cycle of a job you got beat up in and
yeah.
with misogyny or whatever's going on in there.
Yes, yes.
So
There are a lot of tools out there. There are a lot of
there
tools
is.
out there.
Yeah.
And I think young women are probably better than young men. So I'm a mother of a almost 21-year-old son, and I can't even get him to open up too much at this point.
Okay. He's
So
not yet ready for it.
he's not yet ready.
Yeah.
But I will be ready when he is ready
Mm-hmm.
to share any of the tools and the knowledge that would help him evolve sooner.
And so with this evolution in corporate that you were in,
Yeah.
where did you self-abandon?
Oh, God, so early on. So early on. I think back on it, and I grew up in a very disciplined family. My parents are European, immigrated to the United States, first generation, and education was paramount. And you went to school, then you did this, then you did that. So the narrative was very structured and very clear. And that took me right into corporate. And this same narrative continues. You literally
It's familiar.
it's familiar. There are rules, there's boundaries. It's very narrow. You're very disciplined. You're very confined. And you think that's the way. If
Yeah.
I just stay in this box, I'll be successful. And I struggled early on in my career with, the bureaucracy and the politics and all that. And then I got pretty good at it, sadly. But getting good at it had me be more disciplined, more refined, more constricted, I would say. And so self-abandonment happened early, very early. It wasn't until very late in my career that as I say, my soul started to ping me and say, this isn't right. And it wasn't until I got to the highest levels, when I got in the C-suite, is when when you get close to the fire, that's when you get burned. And I got close to the fire and I saw behind the veil and I saw what was really going on. That's when I started to wake up to, wait, what? This is really happening in very, very large publicly traded companies globally.
Yeah.
So self-abandonment early,
Yep.
really early. And I just remember saying to myself, God, if I just keep working harder, I'll keep doing well and I'll keep being successful and that's what I did.
Yeah.
And that was abandoning who I was. No
Mhm.
question.
So I refer back to an episode I did with Robert Grant, because he was in corporate, very
Mhm.
similar like you, these
Mhm.
big, massive conglomerates.
Yes.
And then he left and started entrepreneurship.
Yeah.
And he says, I don't know if you heard the whole episode,
I
but
did.
he talked about entrepreneurship being infinitely harder.
Yeah.
Would you suspect that? I mean, to me, it was interesting to hear that because I feel like getting eaten alive in corporate sounds 10 times harder. Granted,
Yes.
I don't have to worry about the overhead,
Yes.
but I don't know, my soul getting eaten alive versus worrying about overhead. I'm like,
Yeah.
I'll take overhead.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm curious your thoughts on that.
Yeah, I heard his response. I have a different one. My
What's yours?
experience would be that there's good and bad on both sides. There just is.
Yeah, it's pros and cons. I mean, you're going to have
You-
hard on both and good on both.
You are. I just want to choose my hard.
There you go. I just want to choose my heart.
I just want to choose my hard. And again, I would rather bet on myself any day of the week than to go through what I went through in corporate. And I had someone who worked for me for years, and she started her own business, a spa, a terrific spa, really beautiful. And she said to me, maybe within 3 or 4 years of starting this, she's like, Michelle, I don't know how much more I can do. I think going back to corporate would be easier at this point. And I was like, I just want you to breathe for a second and let's talk through this. If you think that corporate America is safe right now, that you're secure in a job, you are greatly mistaken. If you don't see the layoffs happening all over the place, it was a place that I think was safer. There's benefits, there's security, there's a lot of money in these companies for the most part if you're with a sound financial company, but it's not safer. It really isn't. There's a lot of risk to being in corporate America. And I'm talking about going up to the higher levels, because the higher you get, the riskier it gets.
Mm-hmm.
And she was at a high enough level that would have been, I think, a risky move. And she stayed in the business, and it's doing terrific.
Now it's doing better.
It's doing great.
Well, they always say it's the first 5 years that are hardest, and I can attest to that.
I bet.
You have, like, the first 5 years of entrepreneurship, I believe, is the hardest.
Yeah.
Same as marriage. I mean, they're very similar in their frequencies. It's like you got to ride the waves. You're going to have ups and downs, and you're navigating it, and sometimes you're broke as a joke.
Yeah.
Or you're navigating trauma in the relationship. So they're very similar.
Yeah. But you wouldn't change your path.
No.
Yeah.
Entrepreneurship? No way.
No way.
No way. No. I find it interesting because I've tasted corporate. I was in corporate for a bit. And I know the money that gets laid down. Like, we'll buy you a house if you stay. We'll do this. Like, so enticing.
Yes.
But I wonder if you felt this. I felt, because I was in a corporation, it was Icon.
Yeah.
So they were over all the life fitness, all the fitness stuff. I was creating all the stuff for Gold's Gym. It was really fun. But I noticed, and I'm curious if I don't think you had the same experience, but I think you had more trauma with men. I noticed the women were really hard on me. And I felt so much meanness from women in corporate than I did from the men, but I don't know if you had that experience.
I had both. I had a couple women, strong executives that really mentored me and really changed the trajectory of my career. So I had that experience as well. I also had what you experienced. And what I witnessed through that time was like, wow, this is so interesting. Like, why wouldn't we bond together?
As women.
As women, we're stronger in numbers than we are as individuals. But what I saw was that my belief was that they saw there was only one seat at the table.
Yeah, that's exactly.
And if there's one seat, they were going to take out whoever they needed to get that one seat. It wasn't true. The table could have gotten bigger.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. 100%.
Yeah.
Interesting. What do you feel that you should share? Is there a story or anything that you should share to someone who is traversing corporate, traversing these jobs? Is this woman, like, is there anything that you feel called to share?
Yeah, I see it quite frequently now, and I see women in big corporate jobs. And by the way, this is not for everybody. There are some people that are built for corporate, meaning they love it. They love the structure. They love the controls. They love all of that. They don't want to have their own expansion, their own evolution. They're really good at it. So I'm not going to speak to every corporate executive. I am going to speak to the corporate executive who is in a position right now where they are living a life that they are not, they're surviving. That's all I did. I was surviving. I certainly wasn't living, and I definitely wasn't thriving. So if you feel like you're surviving, if your stress levels are through the roof, if your soul keeps pinging you and saying, I'm doing this for financial reasons or for this reason or for that reason, but it's not because it lights you up every day and you absolutely love it, then I would say you really need to step back and do the healing required to find out why you're staying in these roles. I also want to speak to the women that are in companies that are just the wrong fit. As I said to you, I just kept putting my head down and saying, if I work harder, they'll see me. They'll really see me. They were never going to see me. I was working in the most misogynistic, toxic culture there could have been. And I witnessed it every single day. It was, I'd go back to my office being like, I just need a shower right now because I feel so dirty.
Wow.
And there's a lot of cruelty that goes on and a lot of abuse. And it's not acceptable. So to those women, I would say, please, please do the work of healing where you are. Take the time. Take the time because you won't get it back.
It's true.
Because when I get to this point in my life, I'm looking at, 20, 25 great years left? That's a very different vantage point than it was even 10 years ago. And I wasn't even thinking about it then. When I was your age, my mid-40s, I didn't even think about it. I was just putting my head down and working.
I don't even think about it.
Yeah.
That's so interesting.
But when you get here, you really start to think, oh, now I'm thinking about, wow. But I can't turn back time. All I can do is live forward. And what am I going to do with the remaining time I've got on this planet?
Yeah.
And that is to give back to other women and to hopefully ease their path because mine wasn't easy. But it was a lot of self-infliction.
Yeah.
A lot of self-infliction.
Yeah.
And my soul's journey, and I believe this, is that we call on these experiences to evolve ourselves, to evolve our soul. And if you learn that lesson quickly, you'll run through that gate. If you don't, you'll be stuck in these situations, which I was.
Do you have any wisdom for someone like me? Because I'm not seeing it from your vantage point. What wisdom would you offer someone in my shoes, my age, with kids, career?
You're at such a beautiful point, though, right now. And your girls are now going to be, on their own in another year or so. You really have this time. You've got, youth on your side, not only numerically, but also in spiritually, physically. You're super healthy. And you have big dreams, and you still should go for those big dreams.
You think so?
Oh, my God, yes. My
Okay.
God, yes. Go for it. Because you're a very good role model for me in the way you live your life. You live your life in a very balanced way. I've never seen you out of balance. I also didn't see you in the early years of your business.
Yeah, definitely no balance.
I'm seeing you now,
Yeah,
and in the last
it's a
4 or
lot
5
more
years.
balanced.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you already have this innate wisdom, but your dreams are big and they're impactful to the world, and I can't wait to see you deliver to everybody what your dreams are because they're beautiful, and you're really balanced.
Okay. Do you want to share what your dream is?
Wow, I don't know yet.
You're not sure yet.
I'm not sure yet.
Okay.
Danette knows a lot about what my
Yeah.
dreams are,
Uh-huh.
and I'm someone that I don't speak before it's time. So it's still evolving, and had I had this conversation with you a year ago, it would have been something very different
Interesting.
than as it is sitting here today. But I also have big dreams, and
You do.
I do. I have big dreams, and it took me a while. I mean, I really had to unpack a lot because when I got out of corporate, I mean, I was exhausted. I was damaged. I didn't even know who I was, to be honest with you. So I've had to unpack all of that. And on that journey of healing, which, let me tell you, it has been eye-opening. I had no idea how much I had to unpack. And much of it to do with work, a lot of it to do with relationships. And now I feel like I'm in a really healthy place, that now if I were to go out and really be of service to women, it comes from a very balanced, healthy space. I don't think people should be, I see a lot of coaching going on. I see a lot of, self-help, so to speak, teachers, and it's not coming from a healthy place.
Yeah.
And I also see that, by the way, in traditional therapy as well, where we've got a lot of really
Wounded therapists.
Wounded therapists. And, there's this saying that, well, if you just stay ahead of your, client, you're okay. I don't believe that.
Yeah.
I think you're doing them a disservice.
Yep.
So now I feel really, really ready to do the work I'm meant to do in the work. And it is big. But my path right now is to give back.
That's what I love about you, is that you are willing to dive into the depths of your healing, and you've been doing it how many years?
Oh,
But not just like dabbling, like you deep dive. Hypnotherapy is just one of the many things you've
one
done.
of the many.
Yeah.
One of the many.
That's what I do really admire, is just, and you've changed, like you physically, emotionally, like theoretically, all around you is different.
Different.
Everything is different from the day I first met you.
Yeah, night and day.
Yep.
Night and day.
Yeah.
And I do credit the work. I really do credit the work. And I'm going to say to everybody, I think it's worth every ounce of pain I went through to get here to today. Again, it's not for everybody.
Yeah.
You have to really, really want to face some dark shadows. And
But
some,
it's the greatest work you'll
it's
ever do.
it's the greatest work you'll ever do.
Yeah.
Ever do.
Mm-hmm.
And I would not change it for anything. And I'm still in it.
Oh, God.
I am
That's the other
still
thing.
in
We
it.
are still in it.
I'm having sessions now where I'm like, how am I still in it? But I've learned also it's a lifelong process.
It's the infinite onion. We're going
It
to
is.
continually be peeling back
We are.
layers to ourselves.
We are.
It can become addicting. And
It
that's
can.
also what I love about you is that you're like, I'm stopping for now
Yes.
on certain things. Like, I don't need to keep going down this rabbit hole. I do think there's wisdom in going, there needs to be a sacred pause of
Yes.
integration, just like the entrepreneur. Going to a million masterminds, like sometimes you just need to implement what you learned and stop devouring information and trying to connect with the next latest, greatest person and sit at their table. It's like, just get your head down and implement.
Right.
That's
And
like the healing work too. Just implement it.
And I
Live your life.
And I said to you about life, it's time for a little play.
Yeah.
Because it's heavy. It's heavy work.
Yeah.
And you're right. It can get addictive. It's like you're in this, all right, well, I'm going to heal it all. You can't possibly heal it all.
Exactly.
You just have to keep going and then bounce out of life and play a little bit. Have some fun. Add some lightness, some levity. Life is too short.
Yeah. Actually, I think laughter and fun can be the most transformational.
They can be. Absolutely.
Yeah, they can be.
Absolutely. And along my path, I forgot that.
Mm-hmm.
I forgot that laughter and play were so important. Life got so serious and so heavy for so long, and I forgot.
Yeah. So you're really good at reading people. And I know that you are, because this is what's happening, you guys, and she speaks to me about this, and this is why I go to her, is like, you're in this, maybe you're trying to be an entrepreneur, and like, so that you're going to pull up social and you're going to see all these people talking about how to be an amazing entrepreneur, right?
Yes.
And most of them are smoke and mirrors.
Yes.
They're going to show their handbags. They're going to show their nice car. They're going to show that they have all these clients. And really, behind the curtain, they're barely scraping by. It's total imbalance. And she can see through this.
I can.
And
I see it all the
it's
time.
rampant because we have these phones.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's rampant. Yeah. And, I will call you and say, let me tell you what I'm seeing with these people, or here's my, suspicion. And then it comes out eventually. I believe that this house of cards that has been built through social media, this facade, this mask, is going to become transparent very, very quickly. And if you are not being authentic, and I mean really authentic, and I think it's great. I love when people share their trials and tribulations.
Yeah.
It makes them more real. I believe them more. When everything's perfect, when in fact we know behind the scenes that it's not, that authenticity or lack of authenticity is going to come through. It's going to be exposed.
Eventually. You can have and then the bigger you got all the people underneath you and the bigger you think you've risen, the farther you're going to fall.
The farther you're going to fall. I recommend you really got to get honest with yourself and really look at your brand and make sure you're delivering on everything you say you're delivering.
Yeah.
Because if not, it's going to be gone in a second.
Yeah.
We're in a radical transformation right now. And it's going to unravel very, very quickly.
Interesting. You've been telling me that, and I've been curious. I've been watching and seeing. Because I've been privy to see behind the curtain of certain lives, and then I see different things outwardly, and I'm like, whoa, this is interesting.
Yeah.
That they're choosing to share this. It's usually like we usually want to share the thing that we're not so great at.
Right.
Because we're trying to become better at it. So we're like, I'll become the teacher.
Right.
It's very fascinating.
Yeah.
Humans are fascinating.
It really is. It really is. But we're going to see a radical change in that. There's no doubt in my mind.
What do you see for the world right now? That's where the world is headed right now. Like, what is that? And that's a very broad question.
It is.
But what are you seeing for women, where women are heading, where the workspace maybe? And the reason I say this, let me back up, because my brain, I've been studying ancient Greece, and I just am devouring it and learning about the economic status of women in ancient Greece. Like, this is ancient Greece.
Yeah.
Back during the Minoan period, which is before BC, right?
Yeah.
Like 3000 BC. Women were priestesses. Women were equals with the kings. They had economic status, healers, all these different things. Where do you sense things are going as a collective? Where do you see it right now, and where do you think it's going?
Wow.
And this is all opinion based,
It is opinion,
I love hearing from wise people like you about how are you seeing the world?
Yeah. And I certainly wouldn't advocate that I have any deeper understanding than anyone else witnessing what's going on right now. But from my experience and from where I sit, I would have said to you 4 or 5 years ago, and in fact, I might have, I've been very, very frustrated at the evolution of women. So if you look at the Fortune 500, I think we're still sitting at 25 of those CEOs are women. That's it. In publicly traded board positions, you're looking at less than 10%. So that was my original, because that's the world I came out of. And I thought, this is horrible. Like, we've made zero progress, and I'm going to commit myself to that. And then I had the epiphany of, this is like banging my head against a brick wall. I won't win this. I won't win this one. No one can right now. That machine is too big. So then I did this healing journey, this stepping away, really discovering my truth, really looking at women, really seeing powerful women that are out there. And I'm going to go back to the same journey that I went through. Women have incredible powers, but we become over masculinated in many ways. And that was true for me.
You're living into that realm of what you thought you had to live into.
I thought I had to. This is where the world I lived in. So I overdeveloped masculine tendencies, which is not our strength. That's not the strength of the women and of the feminine. So really balancing those. And by the way, we need both. We need both. We need both feminine and masculine. And it was in those feminine, in those healing modalities, in our intuition, in our ability to attract instead of forcing, and our ability to connect.
Yeah.
All of those are so powerful. And I believe that's what those women possessed back then. We're natural healers.
Yeah.
And with the rising of women, I think it goes through the healing path. And the rising will become, in helping women heal, will help them rise.
Yeah.
And I believe this imbalance that exists in the world will come back into balance. I don't know if it'll be in my lifetime, to be honest.
Okay.
I'm not sure. I hope it is. I hope
Yeah.
I get to witness it. And I'm going to do my part to hopefully contribute to helping. I don't even care if I help one woman rise to her power.
Yeah.
Which is in finding her truth through healing her past.
Yeah. Is there any women that you're watching right now that you're like, you're owning your power, but you're doing it your way? You're not putting on a mask of being like the masculine, or trying to fit in and wear the corporate suits because you think you should stand on a stage and dress. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Is there a woman that you're watching that's really doing it and really leading in that way? Is there?
I mean, besides yourself.
Well, come on, I'm not that big.
Well, you have demonstrated those characteristics that you just described. There's no question in my mind. You're demonstrating
thank you
them.
for that.
And rising into your big dreams will create a ripple effect through the world in your space. But past that, when I look at powerful, what we call powerful women right now in the world, there's no one I could name. There's some people that I see, they might have potential, but I'd have to get closer to them to really know whether or not it is true or not, because there's so much fake, there's so much facade, there's so many masks people are wearing. But in doing the healing of women and doing the work you and I've talked about, that will come. They will find their power and they'll rise into their truth.
Interesting.
Through balancing their masculine and feminine, not through over masculinating their way to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think it all starts in their intimate relationships?
Oh, wow. You and I have talked about this, and I am in a very powerful relationship right now, and one that I would never have guessed. And I had high expectations, as you know, but this one has sort of blown my mind. But it's also been incredibly triggering and incredibly healing along the way. And what I'm finding in that, and I am never going to speak to relationship right now because I certainly don't have the track record or experience in that. But from what I'm experiencing right now, absolutely.
Yeah.
I think when you have got a conscious relationship, and I mean a really conscious partnership, the strength and power you get in that to stay in your femininity as well and to stay in your innate powers has been really transformative for me. And again, I'm at the beginning of the beginning. I'm only a year or so in, so I will acquiesce to you on those conversations.
Yeah, no, I feel like I see I see life in patterns, and I've noticed, like, even back when I wasn't in my power, of course I was in a relationship where I wasn't in my truth. I was like in not a great relationship in my first marriage.
Yeah.
And I was self-abandoning all the time. And of course my life reflected that.
Yeah.
So I always want to since there's so many women listening, I think it's important. And I would say that you probably were too. You were in not great relationship. And you
No.
were also self-abandoning at work and in the home, in the four walls of your sanctity, in your bed, the four corners of a bed.
Yes.
And I feel like if for women that are just listening, it's like, let's go really finite. What's going on in the four corners of the bed? What's going on in the four corners of your home?
Mm-hmm.
And that is what is going to happen in the workspace. That's what's going to happen in a friendship space. It's all going to trickle out
Yes.
because it goes back to that.
Yes. It
Right?
does. Yes. It
Yeah.
absolutely does. And if every aspect of your life is not operating at the same frequency vibration, something's going to fall. It just is. You can't have an incredible, well, you can. I showed it, right? I looked successful on the outside. My personal life was falling apart in those years. And I literally just focused on my career. And then, that, fell apart as it fell apart.
Yeah.
But I should have cleaned up that house.
Yeah, because I think it would have changed the direction of business.
No question.
Yeah.
And I would have chose differently.
Totally, because you would have chose yourself in the four corners of your home.
Exactly. Which I did not do.
Yeah, I've thought of
Until
like
I
that.
did.
Poor Craig, like I'm always like, I understand that I'm really getting into these nitty gritty things, but it's because who am I to ever talk to any women if I can't own this right here
Exactly.
and right now?
Right.
And like really stand up for myself right here, right now.
Yes.
It's like,
No.
yeah.
Living authentically throughout your life is paramount.
Mhm.
And there's so many women that aren't doing it.
Mm-hmm.
So many women.
I mean, and it's generational. It's no one needs to blame themselves. We
No.
learned these things from our moms. Our moms learned them. We're breaking so many chains. We're breaking so many things, but we still hold these threads, and it's just getting really real of why am I holding this thread, and what can I remove that doesn't need to still stay here for our daughters, and maybe even it'll be their children.
Yes.
Yeah,
For sure.
by the time it hits.
Yeah. And talking about children, the impact we have, right? Our most trauma is from a childhood.
Mm-hmm.
From years really in utero to 7 years old. That's
Yeah.
when it all happens. And if we're not healed and when we have children this age, we just pass that down.
Right.
Which I know for my son, if he ever listens to this, that I know he's going to need healing. There's no question in my mind.
Yep.
I wasn't operating at my best, and he deserved better from me. And that's another thing around children. It's like we have such huge responsibilities to raise really healthy children in this world.
Yeah.
And if we're not healthy ourselves, then you couldn't possibly be in the space to do that.
Yeah. I mean, I definitely was not healed at 22,
No.
24, having my child. Oh my gosh. I tell her all the time, you're going to need to do a lot of healing work.
Yeah.
It's just the way it is.
Right. It
The
is.
way it
It is.
What do you feel called to share that I haven't asked?
Boy, you've asked a lot of good questions.
Oh.
So we've talked work. I think we've covered corporate versus everything else in that front. I think we've talked about motherhood. That's a big one for me. I think motherhood, navigating divorce, navigating co-parenting. I see very few examples, and I'd love to see more about healthy unions to begin with,
Mm-hmm.
healthy divorces, if in fact it does come to an end, and healthy co-parenting.
Yeah.
I didn't experience any of that.
Yeah.
And it takes two to tango, as they say. So I certainly will own my part in all of it. But I see it happen all the time. And if I try to talk to people about how I would have navigated couples therapy earlier, I went through in trying to save the marriage, and we went to one therapist. I would never do that again. I learned after you should have two therapists that work together.
Oh, really?
Because if you have one, they naturally take a side. They may say they don't, but I experienced it firsthand. He literally told me, I'm the breadwinner in the family, I'm a president of a company at this point, and told me that I should go home and be a good wife.
Huh.
That's what he told me. I was like, could we have a little chat as a sidebar? So I would never do that again. I'd get two therapists. I'd really do the work on that and do it early enough in the relationship that it's not unfixable.
Wow.
It's not
That's really good
unfixable.
advice. I've never heard of two therapists.
Two therapists.
It makes sense. We're human.
We are.
So they are gonna take a side because they have their own issues in their own home. So there's gonna be projection. They're not gonna mean to, but there is gonna be projection.
There is. There's no question.
Wow.
And I hear it happen all the time. conscious co-parenting. It should all be about the children. These adults, these unhealed adults, have got to fix their stuff because it just gets passed down to the child.
Mm.
And I'm a living example of what we've done to our own child, and it shouldn't have happened this way.
Mm.
So, deeply apologetic to my son Jack around what he's had to bear. Honestly, it's been really, really challenging.
Yeah.
And there's only so much you can do.
Yeah.
When you're dealing with another co-parent who you do not have a good relationship with, it's very difficult to navigate.
Mm.
And you do the best you can, but
Yeah.
there's much more on that side. So a lot around parenting and motherhood, and when you have children, knowing the impact you're going to have on them. And that's the other thing about corporate. When you've got a big job in corporate America, it takes a lot of time,
A lot of travel.
a lot of travel, a lot of time away. I certainly tried to hit all the big events that I could, but the truth is I had a big job and told myself that I couldn't step away. I absolutely could have stepped away.
You could have.
I could have. There's no question
How
in my
would
mind.
they approach that? How would a woman approach that?
I look back on all the healing I've done around certain situations. I had way more power than I imagined I had. So
Undermined yourself.
I
and the
undermined
power and the
myself.
role you actually had.
I acquiesced my power over to them. And I've had to rewire those memories through a lot of different healings. And in doing that, I've now taken my power back around. I should have owned so much more.
Asked for more.
Asked for more, stood for less nonsense. I mean, all of it.
Mhm.
All of it I can go back and if I could change it, I would. I can't. All I can do is help other women that are navigating these circumstances to guide them into how to navigate that.
Yeah. If you're a really good employee,
Yep.
if you say, I want to go to this game,
Yep.
they're going to be like, go to the game.
Exactly.
Because they do not want you to feel unsettled in the workforce.
Right.
And even if they're not good people and they could care less if you're unsettled, they still don't want you to quit.
Right. And if they do,
Yeah.
get out.
And just get out.
Get out. You're in the wrong company.
Wow.
You're in the wrong
She
company.
said it. Get
You're-
out.
Get out. You're in the wrong company. And some may say, easier to say than not. It's very difficult. Yes. Currently, the environment is very, very challenging. I'm not going to negate that. But if you are really bright and really good at what you do, you hold a lot of the cards. And don't acquiesce to anyone. Don't acquiesce to a recruiter, to anyone. I have seen it happen over and over again where even recruiters will say, no, you can't say that. You have to say that. No, you don't. Stay true to you.
Okay.
Stay true to you. It's time to turn the tides.
Okay. I love this.
It's time.
So good. I mean, I want to have Michele back because there's like so much more to her. Like, this is like a piece of the wisdom she holds. Like, there's so much more. Like, you've watched so much through friendship, through relationships, through motherhood,
Yes.
through just life. And like someone who really can read people, it's invaluable. But I want to ask you a final question for this
Okay.
particular episode. It's your last. You've probably heard me ask this because I love asking it. It's your last thing to say. And I'm going to have only women. There's like millions of women in front of you.
Yes.
And you get to say one final thing.
God, it's going to be repetitive of what I've said, which is find your truth through healing your trauma. It is in doing that path, doing that work that you find your truth, and you will find such joy and happiness and life left in you to live. And if you don't choose that path, don't choose the hard road. You do not need to choose the hard road. That's what I say to everybody. Again, if I could go back and change one thing, it would have been healed my trauma earlier on. It would have changed the trajectory of my life. I would have lived a way more fulfilling and happy life. I get to do that now. I get to do it now. And I'm really grateful I get to do it now. But God, did I lose a lot of decades.
Yeah.
A lot of decades on that. So ladies, please do the work. Drop into the healing. Do the work necessary to find who you really are beneath this constrained narrative that you may be living in.
Thank you for this.
You're
Thank you for being a friend in my life. Thank you for being a truth speaker and a truth seeker. Thank you for all that you are. I really adore you. So thank you for being here.
God, I adore you and thank you for having me. And I'll come back anytime. This is like a walk in the park for us. So thank you.
Yeah,
Real
thanks for
honor.
walking with us, actually, if you
Yeah.
are walking.
Yes.
And I will see you guys on the next episode.